Hello dear students of class 10th, welcome to geography class. I hope all of you are doing well. Students, in this video I shall be continuing with the exercises of chapter 4th, that is agriculture. Students, in the previous video I explained till question number 2, and in this video I shall start with question number 3. So, the third question is, answer the following questions in about 120 words. So, in question number 3 we have the first question, that is, suggest the initiatives taken by the government to ensure the increase in agricultural production. See, the proportion of population engaged in agriculture is much more than the output or production. Okay, you know, to be more precise, nearly 63% of the workforce is engaged in agriculture, but the output, production is not according to that. The production, the output is less than that. It is comparatively less than the workforce that is employed, that is engaged in agriculture. So, the government took several steps, the government took several initiatives, that means the technological as well as institutional reforms or initiatives were taken by the government in the interest of the farmers in order to increase the agricultural production. If I talk about the technological reform, then in 1960s and 1970s, Green Revolution and White Revolution were some of the revolution or strategies initiated to improve production. See, if I talk about Green Revolution was for production of food grains, and White Revolution, also called as Operation Flood, was for the production of milk. Okay. And if I talk about Green Revolution, then Green Revolution was a successful initiative or measure by the government of India. See, in Green Revolution, high yield variety of seeds were used, and that means modern techniques were used. Chemicals, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, as well as the modern sources of irrigation, for example, canals, tube wells, they were used, and as a result of which the production increased simultaneously. Okay, so this showed positive results. The production was increased. So, this was the technological reform by the government of India. Now let me talk about the institutional reforms. Students, in the 1980s and 1990s, a comprehensive land development program was initiated, which included both technological or technical as well as institutional reforms. So, I am going to explain you about the institutional reforms. See, there were several provisions that were made by the government for crop insurance against fire, flood, drought, cyclone, disease, etc. That means provisions for crop insurance against natural calamities were there, so that the farmers do not face loss because of natural calamities. See, because natural calamities cannot be completely stopped, but the damage can be reduced. So, in order to reduce the damage, in order to safeguard the farmers from loss, the government made several provisions for crop insurance against these natural calamities. Then the government established Grameen banks, that means establishment of Grameen banks, cooperative societies were done for providing loans at cheap rate of interest. See, this was one major problem. The farmers had to take loan from informal sources because of lack of awareness, lack of knowledge, lack of documents, as a result of which they were exploited. How they were exploited? Because the money lenders, the traders, they charged a high rate of interest, and the poor farmers could not repay back the loan, as a result of which they were pushed into debt trap. So the situation of farmers were deteriorating. So in order to uplift their situation, in order to combat the situation, the government established Grameen banks and cooperative societies from where farmers could easily take loan at a low rate of interest. Next, for the benefit of farmers, several schemes were launched. For example, Kisan Credit Card, that means KCC, then Personal Accident Insurance Scheme, that is PAIS, MSP, that is Minimum Support Price. So these benefits, these schemes for the interest of farmers were introduced by the government. So students, I had already explained you about Green Revolution. Now let me explain you some more technological reforms. Green Revolution is also a technological reform, and I will be explaining you some more technological reforms brought by the government in the interest of farmers. So special weather bulletins and agricultural programs for farmers were introduced on television and radio. Why? In order to provide awareness, in order to update the farmers, in order to provide knowledge to the farmers. So special programs were run on the television so that it can easily be reached to every farmer. Weather bulletins were also published so that the farmers could have a check on the weather, that when they will get about the weather, that when they will get monsoon or any other weather bulletins. So these reports were, or these programs were published on television, on news, so that the information could reach the farmers. So these were certain initiatives taken by the government in order to improve the situation of farmers, as well as to improve the productivity, to improve the agricultural situation. So I hope that this question is clear to everybody. Now students, let's move to the last question, that is question number 2. So question number 2 is, describe the impact of globalization on Indian agriculture. See students, I had already explained you about globalization. Globalization is not a new term, it's not a new terminology. We have already experienced globalization years back. Globalization means trading beyond borders, okay, trading beyond the national borders, that is called as globalization. So the impact of globalization on Indian agriculture has been felt since the time of colonization. Colonization means British rule, that means before independence this impact of globalization has been felt on Indian agriculture. Now see, in the 19th century, if I talk about the 19th century, then Indian spices, they were exported to different countries. They were exported in Britain because they were in huge demand, the Indian spices. So they were exported to different countries. Then if I talk about 1917, if you remember, the Indian farmers, they revolted in Champaran. Why? Because they were forced to grow indigo on their land to supply dye to Britain's flourishing industry, to supply dye to Britain's flourishing textile industry. So they as they were forced to grow indigo, they were not able to grow food grains to sustain their families. So as a result of which they revolted. So globalization is not a new term. It was done years, means before independence also it was done. Several spices were imported, not only the spices, cotton, Indian cotton, which is of very good quality. So that is also of huge demand, or great demand in Britain. So cotton was also imported to Britain, which flourished the textile industry of Britain. Now students, if I talk about the impact of globalization, then the Indian farmers post liberalization, they were exposed to new challenges in the form of foreign competition from highly subsidized developed nations. See, if I talk about other nations, the developed nations, for example Japan, China, USA, then the government is very supportive. Why the government is supportive? Because the population is less, so the government is providing huge subsidy to the farmers for growing crops. But if I talk about India, then we have our population is exploding. So, and majority of the population is engaged in the field of agriculture. So how will the government provide subsidy to each and every farmer? And if the government is able to provide the subsidy, then it won't be able to provide the subsidy, that amount of subsidy that is provided by the foreign countries, because it will directly impact our economy. And if I talk about the foreign economy, then the foreign economy is very large, it is vast. So as a result of which, the foreign government is providing subsidy on growing crops. For example, if in India, if the expenditure on 1 kg of rice, to grow 1 kg of rice is rupees 100, and the government is providing a subsidy of rupees 20, that means the total expenditure will be rupees 80. So if the total expenditure in order to grow rice is rupees 80, then the farmer will definitely not sell below 80, it will sell at the price above 80 only. And if I talk about the foreign countries, for example, it takes rupees 100 to grow 1 kg of rice. There also it takes 100 rupees to grow 1 kg of rice, and the government has provided a subsidy of rupees 50. That means the total expenditure of the farmer will be rupees 50, because 50 has been provided as subsidy by the government. So the farmers, the foreign farmers, they can sell their crops, they can sell rice at a price more than 50. So their price will definitely be less, and our price, the price of Indian farmers, the price of products of Indian farmers will be high. So we want to buy cheap products. So as a result of which, the Indian farmers are facing a tough competition from the international market, from the foreign market. So this is the impact of globalization on Indian agriculture. So despite being an important producer of rice, wheat, cotton, tea, coffee, etc., we are not able to compete with those countries. Indian coffee is very famous, the quality is very famous, it is in great demand. The cotton, the quality of cotton is in great demand. There are so many spices that are imported, but still we are not able to compete with those developed countries. We are developing, but they are developed countries. So we are not able to, the Indian farmers are not able to compete with those countries. So that is why today Indian agriculture finds itself on crossroads. So in order to make this successful, in order to make the Indian agriculture or farmers in a better position, special attention should be given in this field, and the government must provide more initiatives. It should take more steps in order to increase the situation of Indian agriculture as well as farmers. So I hope the impact of globalization is clear to everybody. So students, with this we come to the end of this chapter. I have explained all the concepts, all the topics as well as the exercises. So I really hope that my videos will prove helpful to you. So with this, thank you so much. Please revise your lessons, listen well, keep studying, study hard, study well. So thank you so much. I'll meet you again in the next video with a new chapter. Till then, stay safe and thank you so much.